Welcome to another episode of Sports and Songs Podcast. We're your hosts, Dan and Andy. Today, December 19th, 2021. We're in season 3, Andy, episode number 6. How you doing today?
Good. How about yourself?
Getting better from my cold. I got a little bit of a voice issue, but I should be set here for next week.
Nice.
We got some good sports to talk about: college bowls, D2, D3 football, concerts, music.
Yeah.
Soapbox.
The soapbox is loaded today. There's 3 tiers today.
Lots of tiers. Now, we're also going to talk a little bit about the New York Mets. But
first, trivia.
Here's a trivia question.
Speaking of said Mets.
Speaking of the Mets, they announced that Buck Showalter will be managing this year. The Mets. Brand new manager. Not brand new, but new for them.
To them.
He makes it the 5th manager in the history of baseball that has been the manager of both the Yankees and the Mets at one point in their careers. Who are the other 4? The question is, who are the other 4 people on this planet, or formerly from this planet?
Yes.
The late folks that have been managed both the Yankees and the Mets, both teams in New York City. There's 5 now. Buck Showalter's the 5th. The question is, who are the other 4? So we'll come back to that later on. But go ahead and start with your sports info.
I will get right into it here. Do my thing here. We'll start with girls hockey. High school girls hockey here in the state of Minnesota. Rankings have started coming out. Here we fly. Here are the girls' rankings. Class A, you see Warroad, Orono, and Proctor. Hermantown still top 6. Really, a top 6 didn't change. Moose Area moved up. Newell moved up. Simley enters the top 10. Class AA, top 3 stay the same as Andover, Edina, and Tonka stay on top. Gentry moves up from 10 to 5. But same top 10, just kind of switched orders there. A lot of teams playing each other, so you don't juggle around too far. Boys hockey. Class A, top 5 are roughly the same. Delano and Little Falls switch spots. Fergus and Northfield switch spots, but basically the same top 10 as last week. AA, Edina, Lakeville, South stay top 2. Grand Rapids drops from 3 to 9. Others moving up. Rosso and Elk River joining the clubs. Prior Lake up to number 4. Girls basketball. Here we go. Here's some rankings. Now, these are as of the 3rd of December, so there's been some changes on some of these, but it's better than nothing. We got to get some girls talk here going. Hopkins 1, Chaska 2, Tonka 3. Tonka's got a nice team this year. Yeah, I'm a homer, but they're a good team. We'll keep an eye on them. 3A, Becker, Austin, and Mankato East are your top 3 as of the 3rd of December. A lot of these teams, changes coming up. Not many games played, so we're not updating the rankings a lot. These are all based off Star Tribune, MinHub, just the other day. So they'll probably be updated later, and we'll, over the holidays, we will have this update on our social media sites. Class 2A, Providence Academy, Minnehaha Academy, Fergus Falls Academy, Lake City Academy, all of them up there. And A, Mountain Iron, number 1. And I see Cass Lake, number 3 at 0-0. I said a lot of teams haven't played games yet. They're getting there. Just relax. Mayor Lutheran at 4. Boys basketball. These are as of the 15th of December, so he's a little more updated. 4A, you got Park Center, Shakopee, Wayzata. Top 3. Class 3A, Teltina Grays, De La Salle, and South St. Paul. I think if you just want to save that on a loop, there'll be a Class 3A, I think, for a while this year. 2A, you got North, Minnehaha Academy, and Caldenia at the top 3. Maple River at 6. And 1A, Sleepy Eye St. Mary's takes over number 1. New York Mills at 6. Fertile 9, drops to 9. High school wrestling. Yeah, I know it's NCAA match, but leave me alone. From the guillotine.com site as of December 9, here are your rankings for 3A, 2A, and 1A. 3A, St. Michael, Albertville, Waconia, Shakopee, your top three. Bemidji at 7. AA, Assembly, Casson, and Becker, your top three. Dassel, Cato at 8. New Prague at 10. Watertown, Meyer at 11. Class A, Kimball, Belgrade, and Jackson County are your top three. And there you go. Maple River down at number 12. Whoops, wrong button. Johnny. Okay. NCAA Women's Basketball, Associated Press, top 5. South Carolina remains number 1. NC State, Stanford, Arizona, and Baylor. These were all of last week as of the 12th. And the men, Baylor, Duke, Purdue, UCLA, and Gonzaga. Women's hockey, Scotty, number 1. Ohio State, Northeastern, Winnipeg, and the Gophers at 5. Dropped from 4, but they're still top 5. The men's, Minnesota State, holding on to number 1. North Dakota up to 5. And the Badgers finally win the volleyball title. They were been there 4 times and never won one. Nebraska had won 5 in the past. Look at those scores from last night. 22-25, 31-29, 25-23, 23-25, 15-12. Got your dollars worth if you went. It was a long night watching it, but it was fun. It was exciting. Congrats to the Wisconsin Badgers team on their first national championship. Speaking of national champions, Bison football. Here's the semifinals. I'll just give a little prelim to what Dan's getting to later on. Montana State beat the Bunnies to advance, 31-17. The Bison held on to a 2014 victory over JMU, which JMU in the next couple of years is going to Division I. So that's that. The Bison advanced to their 9th title game in 11 years. And here's how the brackets work. Number 2, Bison. Okay, the other guy says number 8, Montana. South Dakota State wasn't ranked. So, yes, the Bison should be favored. But Montana State was still ranked 8th and made the championship. Give them some love and respect. They earned the right to be there.
Yeah, that game, I watched more of that game than the other one. And that Montana State is going to be tough. I have to imagine North Dakota NDSU is going to be favored and will probably win that. But if there's an upset on January 8th, don't be surprised. This Montana State team, the Bobcats, are tough, and they're going to travel well too. Big fan base there. I was unaware of that.
Yeah, they travel good. The Bison travel good. I mean, Frisco, Texas is known as Fargo South, so we'll see. It'll be fun to watch. The soapbox.
Soapbox time.
Kind of kicked me off. Thanks for the intro there to upsets. The word upsets getting overused in sports. Yes, there were some great upsets. But when Buster Douglas beat Mike Tyson, that was an upset. When the U.S. hockey team won the gold medal at 80, that was an upset. Like in basketball there today, when number 12 beats number 5, that is not an upset. Secretary of news media points and everybody else calling it, upset in basketball. Number 18 beat number 5. That's not an upset. That's just a win. I mean, was it an upset because they weren't favored to win? Yes, but don't lead it with big, bold letters, upset, like it was shocking news, you know? That word's getting overused and overplayed in sports, and it's getting kind of losing its sting, losing its value to me when you hear. So when I see upset alert on the screen or something like that, I just kind of blow it off because it means nothing. It's kind of losing its shock value. Soapbox Part 2, AEW Wrestling. I won't get into the pay-per-view, but the big card from Wednesday night, Winter's Coming. I covered that on the page 2 episode. But there's some scuttlebutt going on in AEW right now. One of the female wrestlers shut down her Twitter account because of fans attacking her on there. One of the guys that wrestled there about a month and a half ago proposed to his girlfriend live after one of the events. Oh, such a beautiful moment. Well, they've broken up now. And everybody's saying these other two, that the gal who shut down her social media and this other guy, are dating now. And she broke up their relationship, and she's recently divorced, and they broke up each other's relationship. Who cares? I don't watch AEW to find out who's dating who. I don't care who's dating who, and I don't want to care. And if you got to go shaming people online for who they're dating or not dating, get a hobby. There.
True.
Sports and coronavirus. Soapbox number 3.
Great image. Nice.
You like that? That's might be my new background screen. What's going on is NHL, NBA have had to cancel, postpone games. College basketball had to move some around. Football, as we'll see, is moving some games around because of this. I'm not going to say trust the science. I'm saying trust the math. If you test more people like they're doing, funny, you're going to get more positive results. Trust the math. NHL Saturday and Sunday, these are the games that were postponed. Not scheduled. These were just the postponed games. And here's the rest of the week's schedule postponed. And I just read today ESPN, and we got Kaplan to put on ESPN.com. NHL suspending games with cross-border travel until after Christmas. And the Olympics are still up in the air, if you ask me, in February. They're supposed to take a February break for the Olympics. Those are still up in the air, and I'll cover that more later in the week. 27 games postponed already by the NHL for this. I'm afraid to say, are they going to go back to bubbling? Are they going to call the season after February when they're supposed to break for the Olympics anyway and try to make up these games then if they don't do the Olympics? Don't know. I also won't be surprised if NFL bubbles for the playoffs because of the billion-dollar industry it is there. And here's their schedule changes. Game from Saturday got moved to Monday night at 4 o'clock Central. That's 2 o'clock in LA to watch the game. The Raiders-Browns. And then 2 games were moved to Tuesday. Now, Monday night, they're going to have a game. These are Central times, so work with me on this and follow along. You have the game at 4 and the regular Monday night game, which is at 8. 2 different networks. Fat, dumb, and happy. Life goes on. And I kind of like the idea of 2 Monday night games anyway. But Tuesday night, 2 games, same time, same channel. Granted, 3 of the 4 teams aren't going to make the playoffs or anyway, so no big deal. But why couldn't one be on a different network? Why is it one at an earlier time? I mean, one's on the West Coast. It could have started at 10 o'clock Central. That's 8 o'clock on the West Coast. Why is it if Fox has both games? Why couldn't Fox put one of the games on FS1? Unless they're showing some meaningless bowl game, then move that to FS2. There's no reason Fox should have both games at the same time that night. Last year, the way they were not scheduling games and removing games. Last year, Washington, the Eagles, they would not have moved that game. They would have said, tough bounce, deal with it. Same with the Raiders and Browns. I guarantee that.
So did Fox have these 2 games to begin with for today?
Yeah,
Sunday?
I believe so, but why could they move one to their FS1 channel? The West Coast game, why could that start later, like 8 o'clock Central or 9 Central, after the first game?
Yeah, one's East Coast, one's West
Kind
Coast,
of a
but yet
double
at
header.
the same time.
Fox doesn't have a lot of 10 p.m. programming that's real important stuff. You can't move in the Tonight Show or any of these other late night talk shows. I don't even know what's on at 10 o'clock on Fox in this network. So why the NFL screwed up the schedule change? I don't know. Again, not that I'm going to watch either of these games on Tuesday night anyway. Most real men have bowling league Tuesday night, can't watch football anyway, so who cares?
Now, this week with the bowl games coming on, there is a bowl game Tuesday night at 6:30 p.m. that's on ESPN, so it's going to interfere with that somewhat, but
yep.
Who knows?
So doesn't ESPN have Monday Night Football?
Yes. Well,
So
the Vikings game against the Bears is going to be on the normal time at the Monday night game.
yeah. Yeah, there's a game that could have been moved. I mean, you can't flex the Monday games, but so stuck watching that one.
Interesting.
The Mets, like we did mention earlier, Buck Showalter was announced. There he is in Mets colors. Thank God for someone who knows how to do Photoshop.
Hmm.
Two things I like about Buck being called in as manager. Dusty Baker coming out of nowhere has helped Houston stay relevant. I think Buck's could be the same way because he's going to bring some of the old school mix in. He's going to know when to let the young guys pop off, but he's going to know when to reel them in too. I think that's where Reyes lost him last year. He got caught up in the emotion with the young players. Buck will know when to let them dance and celebrate, but then he's going to know when to pull the reins in. Okay, boys, back to business. So that's what I think he can bring to the team. They're a win now club, and he's a win now guy. And he's had manager of the year 3 times in 3 different teams. So here we go. Showalter will be the Mets. Not only gained a veteran manager for the first year since Terry Collins was there in 2017. He's worked 20 years in leagues with the Yankees, D-backs, Rangers, Orioles. Most recently spending 9 seasons with Baltimore. He's 65 years old, heading to New York, where the Mets intend to compete for a playoff spot. We've talked about the free agents they've signed. He's going to be there. They're winning. They want to win now. They're opening the checkbook. Let's get a leader in who can do it. So I think that's what we're doing. You know, look at his experience. All these years managing since 92 to 95 with New York. 8 years with Baltimore. And those were tough 8 years in Baltimore. Texas and the D-backs. So he's got experience with younger teams, good teams. So we'll see. You know, he's with the Yankees before their dynasty stuff. So he built it up. Torrey came in and rode that wave. So we'll see how that goes. Good luck to Coach Buck. Also, here's his overall record. 1551 and 1570, so he's about a 500 manager. Postseason 5 times, never won a league championship series. He was in the front office for a while, and now he's back being a manager. Urban Meyer, he's looking for a job. He was fired by the Jags this week. Here's a report from ESPN. Urban Meyer became the first NFL coach fired this season. And the Jacksonville Jaguars and owner Shad Khan pulled the plug on Wednesday, but the story is just beginning. Jeff Darlington and Adam Schefter of ESPN report the Jags fired Meyer for a cause and did not intend to pay out the remainder of his contract. This is a quote from them. The Jacksonville Jaguars fired their former head coach Urban Meyer for causes, sources tell ESPN, with the intent of not paying him the remaining 4 years of his contract. The source within the organization said the Jaguars' reasons for withholding the remaining guarantees are not tied to one specific event or one specific incident, but rather accumulation of instances that Jacksonville's officials believe justify the firing. Meyer, for cause, became an instant lightning rod in Jacksonville. He is widely planned. For his decision to sign Tim Tebow to play tight end, and things only spiraled from there. Okay, side note, I thought that was a good thing to bring Tebow in just during camp anyway. I thought that was a good call. In August, Meyer was investigated for comments he made about vaccinated players. The following month, reports began to surface about conflicts Meyer had with players. Then became broken media traditions, rumors of Meyer's leaving for USC, and, of course, the viral video in which the Jags coach could be found grinding a young woman who was not his wife. Following a 20-0 loss at Tennessee on Week 14, Khan had enough. A fruitless locker room conversation that provided no long-term answers sealed Meyer's fate. Accusations of disparaging coaches and players currently didn't help either. Now the entire situation will become a legal mess. This kind of leads back to what I was saying for AEW stuff too, kind of backtrack a little bit. Tony Khan owns AEW. That's Shad's son. As far as I know, Shad has nothing to do with AEW, and Tony has a little financial ownership in the football team. Yes, they use the same facilities there for everybody, for the players, excuse me, and the wrestlers. But Tony Khan said some stuff about WWE and the contracts, how they don't honor them, and that's bad. Everybody's ripping on Tony Khan for this. Tony Khan had nothing to do with Urban Meyer's firing. So there. NCAA will pay officials the same at both basketball tournaments this year. They announced for men's basketball and women's basketball. So that's a good step. They're making progress. Another soapbox item, this beauty we got here. Parents of female Penn swimmer send letters to NCAA over transgender swimmer. One of the biggest sports stories and latest publicized sports stories has to do with UPenn's women's swimming team. Penn's women's swimming team has received attention because they have a transgender swimmer on the team, Leah Thomas. Thomas is competing for the women's team and is absolutely obliterating school and Ivy League records. She has been swimming on the women's team this season, despite previously competing on the men's team for the 3 years before this in her college career. She last swam with the men's team as Will Thomas in 2019. She was even a second-team all-conference swimmer as Will Thomas, but 2 seasons later is swimming for the women's team and dominating. The parents of Thomas's teammates are fed up with how ridiculous and unfair the whole situation is. Her teammates' parents. They sent an angry letter to the NCAA calling for an investigation to create some fair boundaries. At stake here is the integrity of women's sports, they wrote in their letter, according to the dailymail.com. A precedent is being set, one in which women do not have a protected and equal space to compete. It is a direct threat to female athletes in every sport. Where are the boundaries? How is this a line in which the NCAA's commitment to providing a fair environment for student athletes? It is a responsibility of the NCAA to address the matter with an official statement. As the governing body, it is unfair and irresponsible to leave the letter that was sent December 5th to the parents, have not had a response yet, according to Daily Mail. This person will swam on the boys' team. The girls don't like it. Penn State sent a response to parents telling them that they are essentially standing behind Thomas and offering resources for the students to deal with any mental troubles they have for the situation. You know, like changing in the locker room and stuff like that. According to Daily Mail, some of Penn's swimmers were bothered by the perceived arrogance displayed by Thomas after she won a recent Zippy Invitational competition by 38 seconds. In swimming, that's huge. That's crushing. She said things like, as she was crushing and suggested that even she wasn't even at her best, it's okay because I'm still the number 1 swimmer in the country. Really? This is what it comes down to. You were number 2 before. You're second team All-American before for the men's. But now you have to do this. Rules in NCAA state that people like this can compete in the women's sports as long as they've been taking their sex change pills for at least a year. So that means he must have started popping them right after competition ended in 2019 to be swimming this year. Grew the hair out. Just looks like an ugly guy with long hair. And the teammates are getting frustrated. I would be frustrated if like we've said before, if my daughter was on the team and she got bumped from her scholarship for this. She's been fighting her whole life through high school and everything else for a college scholarship and lost out to this. This is wrong. In pro sports, in women's professional football, women's professional basketball, they don't want to allow this. That's fine. They're pros. They're getting paid. They're accepting it. In college, high school, no, this should not be happening. Pro sports, go with it. No problem. You're professionals. You're being paid. You know what you're getting into. When these girls signed up to be on the swim team, they did not expect to be competing against men for their jobs. This is wrong. Penn State needs to fix this. The NCAA needs to fix this and fix it now. Whew. All right. Concerts. Back to the fun stuff. Not a lot of concerts to talk about today. We covered a lot last week, and we'll be doing a lot on social media over the holiday break. But Medina New Year's Eve, Hairball with guest arena. They're still putting out buy tickets. There's still tickets available there. I've seen recently Hairball, as you see in the picture here, they show one of the characters as Paul Stanley. They have brought back their Gene Simmons character now also. So that should be a good show right there. Very good group of guys. I highly suggest you check them out. Jeff Dunham, Target Center, December 30th. Very funny man. Good way to break the tension, December 30th at Target Center. Here's the top 5 songs on the charts, the hard rock charts. Shotgun Blues by Volbeat, number 1. Hunter's Moon by Ghost. Those two are touring together, so that's kind of cool. Supercharged dropped to number 3. Lifeline by Bad Wolves up to 4. And Kill the Noise by Papa Roach, who've been spending the weeks at number 1, drops to number 5. But there's your songs on the charts. Very good songs, all of them. And sir, that's what I have for this week's Andy is part of the show. Sorry if I offended anyone with the swimmer story, but my show, I'll say what I want.
Yeah, it's interesting because
even the parents of the teammates' parents are getting upset. I guess that's the part that I thought, okay, if even the teammates are getting upset, I'm not gonna feel like I'm being the only one mad about this.
Yeah, and it's not like you or I are anti-transgender.
No,
I don't care.
Do what you want.
Your body or what sports you play, as long as you go in one lane and stay in whatever manner female you are, not cut over. Now, this person does seem to be utilizing the new rule to take advantage of it, to exploit it.
Right.
Second team All-American. Well, now she's going to be a first team All-American probably.
And record holder.
That's not the spirit of the transgender athlete. That's not what it's here for to be doing to exploiting it. But yes, if you want to be a transgender, do it. If you want to cut over and play your sports or whatever gender you want to be, I don't care what you do. But it's a situation like this that has now a ripple effect all the way through, and you get people upset, mad, pissed off because of this, because of the timing of all of it. Like I said, you got to start taking your pills when you know it's going to start, so you can declare to go into the women's program. But now you're changing in the women's locker room. You're taking a scholarship away from the women's. You're giving a scholarship spot back to the men's. It throws the whole thing in disarray, and there's no rules really for it. So this person's now trailblazing, not in a good way either. But it forces their hand to make a decision, a ruling now on this.
Yep.
It's
like I said,
the whole thing is unfortunate.
Pro sports wise, like the Minnesota Vixen football team or the Whitecaps for hockey, if they want to have a transgender on their team, that's a pro sport. God love you, go with it. You guys know what you're getting into. These are the college athletes. These are for scholarships. This is college, for crying out loud. I'm just glad my girls, my girl and my boy are out of college by now, and I don't have to deal with this, because I depend a letter or two that wouldn't have been as polite as that one.
And you might have someone on the men's track team that's an elite sprinter as a freshman and says, you know what, I'm never going to reach to another level. Maybe I switch over for the purposes of doing this, take my pill regimen, go out as the women's team next year, and then I could be All-American. For instance, same type of concept.
Without getting too woe is me-ish, you're from the poor, hard family, but you're this gifted basketball player, a gifted track athlete. And some schools looking at you, and this is your only chance in the college. But now you're going to lose that scholarship because Johnny wants to be Jane and be on the track team too.
No, it's
without playing a bleeding heart card either, but there's guys who hopefully they're taking to college. You're already a premier male athlete, or now you might be the female. You just took a spot from someone else trying to get in the school.
Yeah, it's a tricky situation is what it is, and it's unfortunate for everyone involved because it's not not fun.
And like we said before, you want to be transgender. I got no beef with that at all. Do what you want. Hope you're happy.
Yeah.
When you start taking away educations and scholarships from people, that's where it's ishy for me.
It's interesting deal. All right, so for sports, college football, I'll do a little coverage on the Division III men's football national title game. Was this weekend, and we get Mary Hardin Baylor, the team winning that title for the national championship. D2 Ferris State. Ferris State won the D2, and the FCS, like we said earlier, down to the Final Four. They're done now for December. Those teams will square off January 8th for the national title, and then what we're left with now is 44 games of college bowl. D1 college bowl, you get to watch all your favorite 7-5, 8-5 teams playing. There's been 9 games, Andy, so far for the college bowl season already. Two of those games are only 2 of them involved the team that was ranked in the top 25. So a lot of these are your low-hanging fruit. People just getting a chance to play one more game. It's not that big. The crowds weren't even that big at some of these games to start with, so they don't draw a lot, but it's a big revenue boost for the city hosting. And
Yeah.
this week it's going to get wild with the rest of these college bowl games coming up this week, leading up to Christmas and after Christmas, and it all culminates, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. All right, are you ready for the trivia question?
Trivia question answered.
Trivia question is: Buck Showalter recently hired for the Mets to be their head coach, manager. He's the fifth person who's ever managed both the Yankees at one point in their career, and has also coached the Mets at one point in their career. Both New York teams in baseball. He's the fifth one to do so. The question is, who's the other 4? Can you name them, Andy?
I think Casey Stengel. No.
Yes, Casey Stengel is one. What's that?
Joe Torre.
Yes, Joe Torre is the second.
Those are the ones that I remember. I looked at it. The one name I'll let you give the answer. There's one name that I totally gapped. But what are the other 2?
Yogi Berra.
Yep.
Managed both.
Yep.
And the last one is Dallas Green.
That's the one that when I saw that blew me away. I totally forgot about him.
Dallas Green was the manager for both the Yankees and the Mets.
Well, like we said in the pre-production meeting, just from our generation growing up, I always think of Dallas Green with the Phillies.
Yeah, so do I. I think of him as a Phillies guy.
Yep. Yes. Very good. So 5 guys have done it. And Joe Torre wasn't one of them.
What was that?
And Joe Torre, great coach.
Yeah.
All
right, so here is are you ready for the album of the week review?
Album of the week I think it's one we talked about a while ago.
We talked about this a while ago. In fact, Andy, you gave me the suggestion.
Yes.
And here I'm going to decide
to open your eyes and ears. Yeah.
An album I never even heard of, actually. The album is the Nashville Outlaws, a tribute to Motley Crue.
I know we did one country album once before, the Garth Brooks. I thought
typically I don't do a lot of country. We're mainly rock, heavy metal, glam, hair band. But boy, this was an interesting album to listen to. Nashville Outlaws, a tribute to Motley Crue, is a 2014 studio album released via Big Machine Records. It's a tribute album to the heavy metal band Motley Crue, featuring covers of their songs performed by various country music artists. The album's lead single is a cover of Home Sweet Home, recorded by Justin Moore as a duet with Motley Crue lead singer Vince Neil. So this came out 2014. It came out 15 songs, all Motley Crue songs covered by various country music artists. And I think they were given their own leeway on how to proceed with it. Some went, really gave it the push the throttle down, and some of them, there was some of these songs are nothing more than a different version of singing it. I think what they did was got the artists together to do this, and then some put forth that extra effort to really rock it out, and some just kind of was average.
Made it their own. Yep.
So, but there were 15 songs, And this album, it didn't go over, big. It didn't go platinum. It didn't even go gold. It sold 55,000 copies in the U.S., but very interesting. It kicks off with Kickstart My Heart by the Rascal Flatts. That was actually very well done.
Yeah, that was actually a good version.
Rascal Flatts did that song. And then the next song, track 2 is If I Die Tomorrow, done by the Florida Georgia Line. And then Leanne Rimes comes in on song number 3, doing a pretty good version of Smoking in the Boys' Room.
Yes, that surprised me when I saw her doing that one.
Yeah, she did that well. Home Sweet Home, we mentioned that. That's Justin Moore. And that's the only single that was released off this album. And with the music video and everything done with that, it shows Vince Neil in the background singing, Justin Moore singing it. They call it a duet, but it's kind of audio immersion together. And that was Home Sweet Home. Then The Animal and Me is song number 5, The Animal and Me. That's a song by Cassidy Pope with Robin Zander. And then Afraid, the song Afraid by Motley Crue, was covered by Aaron Lewis. Aaron Lewis, formerly of Stained.
Yep.
And then the song SOS, Same Old Situation, Motley Crue song, covered by Big and Rich.
I'm not a big. As personal reasons, I don't like Big and Rich. John Rich rubs me wrong.
Yeah, their version of Same Old Situation was kind of tame, I think, as well. But
yep.
Then they go on to the next song is Without You. This is Claire Bowen with Sam Palladio. And that's also, I think, very average. Song 9 is Don't Go Away, Mad, Just Go Away. That is covered by the Eli Young Band.
They're all right.
And then Looks That Kill by Motley Crue, song 10, covered by Lauren Jenkins. And then we get into Live Wire, one of my favorite songs by Motley Crue, Live Wire, covered by the Cadillac 3. Next song 12 is Dr. Feelgood, is covered by the Mavericks.
Yep.
The song Girls, 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 covered by Brantley Gilbert. And then Wild Side. Gretchen Wilson does a pretty good Wild Side song.
I like me my Gretchen Wilson.
That was very good.
Yep.
Now, I think we typically might like her. She does cover a lot of Heart songs, Straight On. She does Barracuda.
She's done some duets with Kid Rock, too.
Yes. So she's done some songs more to our liking, and that's why it didn't really surprise me to see her do Wild Side. Very well done. And finally, it wraps up with Time for Change, done by Darius Rucker.
Yep. The Missus is a big Gretchen Wilson fan.
What's that?
The Missus is a big fan of Gretchen Wilson.
Oh, really?
So.
Yeah, I looked her up and was surprised to see some of the songs that she has done over the years. But very good stuff. She does a lot of cover, a lot of songs with other artists, a lot of collaboration. But has done some stuff with Ann Wilson. Done some things with Heart, and I think even in Alice in Chains something was done in the Seattle area. So
and now I'm not big in the country music. I knew some of the bands there. I heard, but it wasn't let's take the top 15 country bands and have them do Motley Crue songs. There was a lot of not real popular bands or average bands.
It's all across the board.
That's what I liked about it. It wasn't Alabama trying to do one and Brad Paisley trying to do one and Alan Jackson doing one, and because that loses it then. I want to hear what somebody else has to offer. Like the Kiss album, Kiss My Ass's album. There was one, the Eagles had one that a bunch of country artists did a bunch of Eagles songs. That was kind of cool. Those are, to me, are fun albums to listen to, because these guys grew up with them as influences.
Yes, and that was very interesting to see that, to go through and listen to this, because they put a lot into it. But is it an album that I'm going to go out and buy and stick in my 8-track player? No, I'm not going to. I'm glad you recommended it. I'm glad I did the review.
It's a good listen on Spotify to put those songs in your mix every now and then.
Very good to listen to. I like going through listening to all those 15.
Yeah, I wouldn't listen to it all the time, but every now and then for something different. Yeah.
All right. Anything more for music or concerts?
No. Not much. Just a lot of the stuff for that. The next 2 weeks, we have special episodes planned. So music stuff, concert stuff. We'll probably just keep following the social media sites. We put things up on there on any concerts coming up, this and that. And after the first year, we'll hit that hard again running with concerts and new releases and stuff.
I am listening to the new Jerry Cantrell album, and that will be reviewed at the beginning of next season, January, next month. I'll do a review on that. I'm impressed with that album. I like it.
You still get your fingers crossed that Mom might get you concert tickets for Christmas?
Yeah, I don't know. I looked it up, and they've got special restrictions on the COVID.
Oh, is it there?
Not to get into that. So,
where's it at again? It was at
It's at the old Fitzgerald Theater.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Now it's called something else. I would like to see it, but I'm not that gung ho now about it. He's coming to town, I think, March 24th.
And now with everything else changing, like all these other sports,
that could really be up in the air as well.
That's
I'm not sure. So I'll wait a couple months to see how that all shakes out. But I do like the album.
That's why I kind of didn't go so far on concerts this time, because so many things will be changing again now.
Very
so if you do
fluid,
tickets
very fluid.
Yep. If you have tickets for something in March or February, save them, hold on to them, keep your ears open, follow. If it's at Target Center, follow Target Center's website or that band's website, and go from there. Unfortunately, expect changes, I think, on some stuff coming up.
Yeah, the NFL will be the most, I think, the interesting thing to watch as that develops, because the season's almost done. They're winding down, and there's playoffs just around the corner, and now they're moving and shaking all this.
Right. I hate to say the bubble word, but you never know. With the money they got invested in all this stuff, or they're going to limit seating in stadiums or something. They're going to have to do something to show they're trying.
All right, that's all I've got on my end. Anything more on your end?
No, like I said, next 2 weeks special episodes for the weekends anyway. I know I'm still going to do some midweek stuff. You're doing your midweek stuff still. But I guess all I got to say is till we meet again, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Happy holidays. See ya.